right, good morning, everybody. It's Cowboy, 8:30 a.m. EST Wednesday. Today is a pretty important day as far as data is concerned. So before we look at the chart here, this is Bitcoin on the screen. We're going to talk about the FOMC minutes. Okay, that comes out at 2 p.m. EST. So if you're in any trades before that happens, might be wise to consider managing those trades, right? Because the data that's coming out, it might be a bit of a surprise, right? So what is the FOMC minutes? The FOMC was last week. That's when Jerome Powell and company all make their decision on the interest rates. And that's about the biggest news there is in finance in the world. And so, the price at which money is created is going to have a massive effect on markets. It's the main thing and the main lever they use to control inflation. And it's been the subject of all financial talk going back for quite a long time now. And the decision was made a couple weeks ago to have a jumbo interest rate cut. 50 basis points is a big interest rate cut. It tends to be the minimum cut is 25 basis points, which is 0.25%. They cut 50%. Well, all the factors that went into that decision are discussed at the FOMC meeting, and that's all taken down in something called minutes, which is basically somebody taking notes in the meeting, and they're going to describe those minutes. They're going to release those minutes to the public, and we're going to see more of the logic behind their decision, more what they're thinking, and everybody's going to dissect it, and people are going to glean what might happen in the next FOMC, which is coming up in 2-3 weeks. So I believe. So anyway, when that gets released, markets might make a strong move. And so if that's the case at 2 p.m. EST, whatever trades I'm in, I will definitely look to manage at that time. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin chart right here. There's a lot of noise on that screen, right? So I did this yesterday for Algo Factory, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the fixed range on the left, make it a little bit cleaner. And what these bars are, these are areas where price might be attracted to or might reject at, okay? Now, as it stands, my algos, at least what I looked yesterday and still even today, price wants to come down at least a little bit. It might not go down that far. It might go down a little bit farther. It's hard to say how that's going to go because we're at the, kind of the end, or at least what should be the end of the pullback from the halving, right? It's been about, I think, 6 months now that price has just kind of gone sideways. If I scroll out here, or if I zoom out, you can see price has just been kind of going slowly sideways and down, making a big giant bull flag. Everything says that chances are price will go up. Doesn't mean it will. Most likely it will, and make a new high here in the next month or two. However, before that happens, there tends to be pullbacks, and it looks like we might be seeing one right now. Price has been just kind of building a little bit of sideways momentum. If you look in the higher time frame, going back to August, right, you even have some actual uptrend. Technically, you have higher low, higher high. If you take a look at the daily chart here, so let's map that out real quick. All right, we got a low here, we got a high, higher low, higher high. So a higher low would put us somewhere in this region right there. Maybe in the, if price even broke down below 60,000, it may not. We might have seen the higher low. This 59,000, whatever this is right here, right about 59.8, this basically 60,000 might be the higher high. Whatever's going to happen right now might be a weak pullback and not go that far. We don't know yet. So this might be the higher high. It might, or I'm sorry, the higher low, or it might continue down and make another higher low. And if that happened, and it does appear to be happening, I did tell people the last 3 days that I think price kind of wants to head down. And if you zoom in here, you can see that every time price rallies, it keeps getting pushed back down. You see these wicks to the top side here on the screen. Price tried to rally, gets pushed down. Try to rally, gets pushed down. Try to rally, gets pushed down. This is on the daily chart. So, it's a pretty strong time frame, pretty high time frame. So it does appear the price is going to head down. And the yellow blocks here are at least according to volume nodes where price wants to go. We're going to take a look at the liquidity, see if we can refine that data a bit. And we're going to use the Fibonacci tool as well. So let's start with the Fib, because the Fibonacci is a great guideline as to where price might go when it retraces. And let me delete this arrow here to make my Fibonacci more precise. Okay, Fibonacci. Okay, so your 618 tends to be where price goes. And there is a volume node, this yellow, that's where price might be attracted to. So the most likely place price might go, according to Fibonacci, according to this volume node, would be around 58,000, 57.8, 57.6. So price might take a pull down there. It's possible, but this blue area here is where there's not a lot of volume. And on top of that, it's also in the middle of a kill zone, right? So on the way up, price pulled back a bit and then it continued upwards. And when price rejects, it tends to come into that kill zone and move upwards. It's already touched that kill zone, which basically that kill zone, if I were to draw a block around it, and this is going to make the chart a little messy, so I'll delete it. But that kill zone right there, encompassing all of that. So I'll mark this just temporarily so you can see it. This magenta square, real hard to see there. I'll take it off here, but price has already touched that, but it may touch that again. You might get like a double bottom or something like that. So, structurally, right, the most likely place for price to go is going to be at let's do this, at this most recent little bottom right here, sitting at 59.7, right? Price might bounce off that again. It might also go to this pullback right there. There is some structure right here at about 55.6. That pullback I just mentioned is sitting at 57.4. We just talked about that. And then the lowest point would be about 52.6 in the local moves, right? So there are lower points, but those are the local lows where price might go to. Now, the price is not going to really want to push past, like, say, 59.5, going down to 58.5, that block right there. It may push past it, but it's not going to want to push past it. It will be attracted to these yellow blocks. It won't be, it'll be repelled by this 55.6 area. It'll be attracted to this 54.3. And if we wanted to map out where it's most attracted to, the fixed range has a point of control. We'll map it out right now. Put a little more mess on the chart. Point of control is up high. So price really, more than anything, wants to go back up to 63.1 if we're going to talk about volume nodes. However, we have it pretty well mapped out. I think price is going to at least retouch that maybe 59,800 area or the 60,000 area, might get a double bottom on that. Once it gets there, I'm going to have an idea once and if, it might not even get there, but if and when it gets down to 60,000, I'm going to take a look at the algos, all the other metrics, and see if I can determine what's going to happen after that, right? So it's kind of one of those, we'll see when it happens type scenarios. That's mostly what trading is. The charts paint, and as the charts paint, we start to see more data. We have more data, we can make more decisions, right? So the last thing we'll do on Bitcoin here, and then we'll jump over to the private live lab, is going to be looking at the liquidity nodes. And there's not a lot of liquidity downside. There really isn't. And price is going to want to go towards liquidity. And most liquidity right now is spiking at about 63.8, 63,800. It's not a strong one, but you could also see here that it matches our point of control, I think. Let's put that fixed range back on and see if that's our point of control. Let's see here. Right there, 63,000. So really, yeah, 63.8 is just above that. So right at the top of where these, like the liquidity here, this is the liquidity where price is going to want to go to based on the volume nodes. And let me code that yellow. And right at the top of that is where the liquidity is on the Kingfisher. So as soon as we can see a good bounce and the algos get bullish, provided that they ever do, in this kind of, let's just say in this epoch of Bitcoin or whatever, in this area, right? If the liquidity stays where it is, if the charts stay how they are, if we can get a bounce around this, at least this kind of 60,000 or just below area, it's going to want to come back up to 63.8. But things change. The liquidity nodes don't, or the volume nodes don't really change per se until price comes into that area. The liquidity nodes change all the time. They could even get stronger. So I do think that the probability is decent. We're going to see price right now head down and grab about 60,000, maybe 60,500. most likely 60,100. And 60,100 is a well-known, well-tested support going back. If you look back through this area, 60,100 has a lot of bounces up and down. So, for price to go back to 60,100 would make a lot of sense. So if I were to just like take trade right now, I'd have a target around that area. So, all right. Valley Girl says, where's the beef? All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're going to pop over to the private live lab, right? So algofactory.tech is our website. Zap the QR code in the top right-hand corner if you want to go see what we do. We help traders build their own trading plan, their own algorithm. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to write a single line of code. We just teach you how to build a trading plan that's going to be consistent, right? And we're pretty good at it. So, come check us out, www.algofactory.tech. If you're concerned about what's going to happen in the future, if you're concerned about what's going to happen to your job, if you're concerned about having a second, even if it's a small income, just to supplement what you got going on. If you're already a trader, but you want to know how the pros do it, come on over to algofactory.tech. We'll see you there. Join us or die. Sorry about the pause there, everybody. That was weird.
Join us or die.